9:04 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning. It's Chris and Ken Weaver in the newsroom and the weather room. He's multitasking. I love it. Mac Morey producing. You all right, Mac?
Oh, I'm making it. Hello. Good morning, Chris. Happy Monday.
Good morning.
Hope you had a wonderful weekend.
I did. It just got better as it went on.
Oh, yeah. The end of it really was your high, was the peak.
And it was so good. So, you remember when the Eagles beat the Chiefs? Do you remember that?
I do. Yes.
So they
not in the Super Bowl, but in a regular season game. Yeah, it was good. Good for them.
So whatever. So we're talking about current events, Mac.
Yes. Okay, fair enough.
I had the little Eagles chant for you.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm.
I brought you another gift today.
Well, 'tis the season. What did you give me?
I think you're gonna like this one a lot better.
Oh, really?
Than the Eagles chant.
I find that hard to believe.
Really?
I loved the Eagles chant
Did
so
you
much.
love it?
I really find
Did
that.
you?
Yeah.
So I was like, listen, I want to do something fun, but I wanted to do a little different for you.
Okay.
All right. So this is what I got my hands on.
Tell all the people across the USA, I love my Green Bay Packers. Who won the first Super Bowls ever played? I love my Green Bay Packers.
Oh my gosh.
Pity Chicago, Detroit, and Tampa Bay. Throw in the Vikings. They all come out as laggards.
You know, this is like an actual real song that they do. That's like that's.
Oh, that was so lame. Wow.
That's Wisconsin for you. Hold on. There's some
It's
really
catchy,
good,
I
there's
gotta
some
say.
really good parts. Ready?
Oh, okay.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
We got the best team.
We got the best team. Go Pack! Break it down. I love my Green Bay Packers.
Gonna have to break down.
They love me too.
Oh my gosh.
They love me too. All right.
Yeah.
Get off my lawn!
All right.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
That's
know why.
frustrating, man.
I was so excited about like just that 1 minute, and I don't have anything else. You got anything?
You got anything for the show? Because that's what
You got anything for the show today? Because I don't.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
I mean, I could do that a couple more times.
You know it's bad when the first thing I think of when my team loses is like, oh, now I got to deal with this tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you sure do. Virginia was really like, it's like, all right, you done with prep? And I was like, we got another 7 minutes in this game. I was like, prep ain't over until we find out the final score.
This is the bulk of my show.
My wife was like, why do you keep listening to that song? And I said to her, I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe I get to play this on the air tomorrow.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
Yeah. That's
I
great.
mean, it was either like, so my choices were pretty limited. I'm not gonna lie to you. It was either go full polka and hit you with this,
We got the best team. Go Pack!
or there's like a Lil Wayne remix, Green and Yellow.
Oh, he did the green and yellow. Yeah. No.
I don't think it would hit the same as.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
So, this is what I brought for you.
It's terrible. Yep. This is a terrible no PI call at the end, but we deserve to lose that game either way. So it's all good.
Whatever, dude. What about the?
Did you see that?
What about the unnecessary roughness call while Mahomes
On
is
Mahomes,
still
yeah,
in bounds?
it's about 15-yard. Yeah,
So
but we're talking about a 45-yard penalty versus a 15-yarder. Yeah, no doubt.
You know what they call those? Call them makeup,
Makeup calls. Yeah.
Makeup calls.
No, I understand. I understand.
Do you understand?
We got the best team. Go Pack!
Do you understand?
The funny part is like I have no vested interest in either team. And for the record, if your team does go far,
We got the best team. Go Pack!
if they do go far, you know I'll root for you.
Oh, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
When we go far. Yes.
If until
We
then,
got the best team. Go Pack!
so. There was that one. Was there one questionable call or two questionable calls against the Chiefs?
Honestly, the whole game had questionable calls versus both teams.
Like right
but
at the end, was it one or two?
I think it was just that one. You talking about the PI? That was.
Well, because then right in the end zone, it looked like Travis Kelce got pushed too.
And that was a PI too, but they never call those.
Yeah.
That's a Hail Mary. I'm okay with a no call there. Let him play. But that first one, I mean, when you got a guy on your back like a backpack, That's PI. But that's okay. We deserve to lose that game.
All right, I was hoping you were going to call them both out so I could make a two things at once joke for Travis Kelce and Pfizer. That's what I was hoping for.
You're like, oh, yes, he's going to do this. I'm going to have a Pfizer joke.
If you don't have, all right, well, whatever.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
Break it down.
Break it down.
I love it. It's not really even a breakdown. It's just like the guy changing
Break
his
it down.
voice.
Oh, I just love my Green Bay Packers.
What?
I love my Green Bay Packers.
It is a good song.
They love me too.
They love me.
They love me too.
And honestly, pretty accurate depiction of people up there. That are Green Bay Packers fans.
Yeah, I've never been.
I was like, who would listen to this? And I was like, it probably actually checks out.
Wisconsinites. Yeah, that's right up their alley.
Pretty much checks out. Hey, speaking of Travis Kelce and Pfizer.
Nice segue.
You know, Aaron Rodgers didn't take the vaccine.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
Anyway, so Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton is suing Pfizer for false deceptive COVID jab con. Texas Attorney General sued the pharmaceutical giant Pfizer on last Thursday for using highly misleading rhetoric to con Americans into getting the company's COVID-19 shot despite its failure to prevent infection or transmission.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
Pfizer debuted the jab in 2020, obviously, and they promised that it would be 95% effective against COVID. It wasn't, and now this lawsuit coming out of Texas is alleging that the company engaged in false, deceptive, and misleading acts and practices by making unsupported claims about its vaccine that violated the Texas Deceptive Trade Practices Act. They're alleging Pfizer created this false impression that its vaccine provided a substantially greater amount of protection against COVID-19 infection than what it afforded in reality. Weird. Pfizer undertook a continuous, widespread campaign compromised of the deceptive concerning alleged above for the purpose of misleading the public about the efficacy of its vaccine. It's nice that they say a deceptive and concerning campaign. I would like to say it was full-scale propaganda and coercion. They go on to say this course deceptive conduct was reinforced and extended by Pfizer's efforts to censor persons who sought to disseminate truthful information that would undermine its ongoing deception. Paxton, the Attorney General out of Texas, specifically found that the data Pfizer used to conclude the COVID shot was nearly 100% effective relied on a relative risk reduction assessment, a measurement that the FDA, the Food and Drug Administration, warns leaves patients unduly influenced and vulnerable to suboptimal decisions. A bunch of suboptimal decisions last night during that game, too.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
All right. Sorry. I'm going to find ways to just slam that in. Just so you know. I probably got about, 100 more uses of that coming.
In the middle of a segment about the border, we've got the best team.
Yeah, the border's wide open, a lot like the Chiefs' defense last night.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
So, yeah, I'm gonna find ways. I will. I promise. But so they're Ken Paxton is suing Pfizer. And they're saying, despite the early concerns about Pfizer's jab's ability to shield someone from contracting or passing along the virus, pharmaceutical company marketed the shots to Americans and the federal government as an effective way to stop the spread. That advertising, paired with what they are calling pandemic porn, plaguing politics and corporate media, earned Pfizer record-breaking revenue, and it just seemed deceptive at best. Even as after Pfizer sold and distributed millions of these so-called miracle shots, COVID cases increased. Weird. Attorney General Ken Paxton also noted that certain parts of the U.S. recorded more COVID-linked deaths among people who received the vaccine than among those who refused to get it. Weird. When Americans called these statistics into question, Attorney General Ken Paxton of Texas said Pfizer responded by dubbing them criminals and joining the White House and demanding that big tech companies censor anyone who dabbled in what they deemed to be vaccine misinformation. And surprise, surprise, it seems like the only ones pushing this misinformation were Pfizer and the government. Ken Paxton says, we're pursuing justice for the people of Texas, many of whom were coerced by tyrannical vaccine mandates to take a defective product sold by lies. That was in a statement on Thursday. He said, the facts are clear. Pfizer did not tell the truth about their COVID-19 vaccines, whereas the Biden administration weaponized the pandemic to force illegal public health decrees on the public and enrich pharmaceutical companies. I will use every tool I have to protect our citizens who are misled and harmed by Pfizer's actions. And to that, I say thank you. It's no surprise that, the deep state hates Ken Paxton when you see what he's doing in these kind of arenas. He stands a lot on truth, and it seems like he's going where a lot of people, don't want to go. He's having those conversations that people don't want to have. I mean, even the CDC, the Center for Disease Control, where were they throughout all this? So they're saying, you got to get it. Got to get it. And the CDC, what a joke they've become. Did you know that in their new vaccine guidance, they've erased the word woman and are now using the more gender-neutral term, pregnant people?
Oh. Whoa.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
It doesn't really fit there.
It's
but I
not
just
really
wanted to do
good,
it.
yeah.
I just want to do it for fun. They're saying it's an appalling example of how politics is increasingly interfering with medicine. A lot of us feel that way. A lot of us feel that the politics have, eroded trust within the medical institutions. I saw an interview with Dana White, the head of the UFC, and he said on his interview, I'm not going to a doctor for anything. He's like, if I need surgery or I break a bone, I will. But as far as general everyday health, nope, because, the trust has been eroded. And now the Center for Disease Control and Prevention doing more to, make the average everyday American think, weird. They've erased the term woman from their recent health guidance and replaced it with the more gender exclusionary terminology. This includes omitting gender-specific terms such as, these are divisive terms, mind you. They're not getting rid of the regular everyday thing. They're just divisive terms like she and her and woman and mother. And they're replacing them with gender-neutral terms like pregnant person, pregnant people. And the changes can be seen in recommended health guidance for respiratory virus vaccinations for pregnant women. This is all according to the Daily Mail. In particular, vaccine promotional materials for the flu, COVID-19, and RSV, which are diseases that can be deadly to pregnant women, were updated to reflect the new terminology. It is really wild to see a CDC, thing that says the flu vaccine is the best way to protect pregnant people and their babies. Pregnant people. The CDC's decision has caused backlash, and according to the outlet, where the health organization referring to these changes as dangerous. Stella O'Malley, a psychotherapist and director of GenSpect, slammed the updated guidance as dangerous. She told Daily Mail that pregnant women are among the most vulnerable, and those who speak English as a second language might have trouble understanding the terminology. There was no need to replace the word woman with the word pregnant person in medical matters. Clarity and simplicity, and clarity and simplicity should be prioritized so that everyone can understand what is involved. Some people, especially for those whom English is not a first language, will not understand what is meant by pregnant people. I don't really understand what they mean by pregnant people. English is a first language. No idea. Completely lost. Yet, they would readily understand mothers, she continued. It's an appalling example of how politics is increasingly interfering with medicine. The CDC updated its guidance in September, according to the outlet, which reads, the CDC recommends pregnant people get a flu vaccine by the end of October. Although flu vaccination should continue as long as flu is circulating. Getting a flu vaccine by the end of October helps pregnant people and their babies before flu activity begins to increase. Pregnant people may receive a flu vaccine at during any trimester of pregnancy. The Association of American Physicians and Surgeons said the CDC was cowering to political forces. Yeah, the CDC cowering to political forces. So such a weird development. The CDC cowering to political forces. I would have never guessed anything like that happening.
Surprise, surprise, surprise.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
I know it didn't fit there. I just wanted to do it for you. The CDC is supposed to be an apolitical bastion of science. That's what they tell us, right? Oh, you got to follow the science, trust the science. The CDC is supposed to be apolitical. But now we can see them in black and white, in ink, cowering to political forces, a small minority, but highly influential entities who are trying to change language Orwellian style to force acceptance of an absurdity. That was from Dr. Jane Orient, the executive director of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons. She also said, all pregnant persons are women. Ah! That is controversial. Whoa, that might be too controversial for my show. All pregnant persons are women.
Slow down.
Whoa there. Calm down, bigot. They said all pregnant persons are women. This is the executive director of the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons. I didn't know the Association of American Physicians and Surgeons was a hate group, but they say all pregnant persons are women. A trans man is a woman who is trying to alter her body to resemble a man's. She's endangering her baby's health if she's taking testosterone. The CDC ought to be warning about that. Amen. They don't warn about that, though. Why would they? There's no money in saying don't take the drugs, so don't warn against it. But good on Ken Paxton suing Pfizer. I look forward to see what comes out of that. Although what we'll probably see is, more government censorship, no mainstream media coverage, and, a two-tier justice system siding with Big Pharma. I know. Maybe I should have said spoiler alert before I said all those things. It is 9:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Don't forget, you can take us with you wherever you go. We're on iHeartRadio. Tune in. The podcast online, 997WTN.com. Hey, are you a small business owner going into the new year wondering how am I going to hang on to my employees? Well, I have an idea for you. It's Chris Hand from my friend Jan Whitfield and Dental Plans with Jan. Listen, your employees want to feel valued. They want to feel appreciated. And there's a small thing that you can do that will make them say, wow, this company really does care about me. And one of those small things is dental and vision plans. Just a small way to say thank you to your employees. And again, a great way to retain these employees who may be looking for work elsewhere. We know employee retention is getting tougher and tougher as the days go on. Plus, it's also a great way to entice new employees to jump aboard and join your company. Dental and vision plans. Now, these dental and vision plans we're offering, super easy, super affordable, and they're reputable dental plans. In fact, some of the most popular in Tennessee, and it just takes a 15-minute phone call to Jan Whitfield to get the ball rolling. It's a win-win for you and your employees. Now, no matter what kind of small business that you own, we can find a plan that will help you and your employees, whether it's a salon, a landscape company, daycares, maybe a moving company, any kind of small business. These dental and vision plans are for you, and they're affordable. Your employees will be eligible for full benefits the first day that they enroll. There's no enrollment fee. And these plans start at around $27 to $39 a month, depending on what benefits you're looking for and how many employees you have enrolled in the plan. And it's not just your employees. They can enroll their spouses and their dependents. So wife and kids, you get dental and vision too. And that's if the group is more than 10 people. Plus, orthodontics are available. Do you have any idea how expensive braces are? Well, they're a lot more affordable when you have dental and vision. So if you got employees in your company that don't have dental and vision, now is the time to set them up with a great dental and vision plan with my friend Jan Whitfield. It's Dental Plans with Jan. All you got to do is make a quick phone call. She says it takes less than 15 minutes and your company will be insured. 615-974-9655, 615-974-9655, or online, dentalplanswithjan.com.
All right, parts of South Nashville are like a parking lot. We've got 440 westbound blocked right after the 24 exit. The left lane is blocked there, 440 westbound after the 24 exit. We've got another benefit emerging for people who use a popular weight loss drug, and a new airline merger might lead to more choices and better rewards for travelers. These stories and more at 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Hey, did you hear that Derek Chauvin, the police officer who was sentenced to jail for murder because of George Floyd, was stabbed 22 times in jail? 22
Whoa.
times.
Whoa.
Yeah. Gets weirder. Word on the street is the guy that stabbed him with an improvised knife was a former FBI informant.
Whoa.
Yeah. His name is John Tursak. He's 30 years old. He's a former Mexican mafia member who admitted to carrying out a number of crimes while working as an undercover FBI informant. That was a Los Angeles Times article that confirmed he was a FBI informant. And that's the guy. John Tursak is 52. Sorry. He was charged with attempted murder. He's now been charged with attempted murder in the stabbing of Derek Chauvin. Stabbed him 22 times. 22 times. Former FBI informant. Don't worry about it. It's probably a coincidence. There's probably no correlation. Just a weird coincidence. Yeah.
Of course.
Of course. Just a coincidence.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
What? Does that not fit there?
Nice.
All right, 9:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Time for the news with Ken Weaver.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Right now, new research finding the weight loss drug Ozempic, known generically as semaglutide, may also help prevent alcohol overuse and abuse. The popular drug used for weight loss showing very early signs of potentially curbing alcohol use for those who drink excessively.
Chrissy Martin, who was not part of the study, says while she used to drink wine every night, her urge to drink has disappeared.
Drinking for me was becoming a bit of an issue. And the fact that I just have no desire for it is something I didn't expect and is just an amazing side benefit. I can't even tell you.
This small case study now setting the stage for larger clinical trials.
That's Ariel Reshef reporting. Many American travelers rejoicing today for the new merger announced over the weekend between Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Air, which experts say could bring more choices and better rewards for travelers nationwide. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. One of the things you hear me talk about frequently on my radio show that has been going for over 20 years in the Nashville market is that annuity sales are not necessarily a great thing for the end investor. Now, if you go to an investment firm, a lot of times you'll get that. The first thing that they recommend, an annuity. Banks and investment firms recommend these for one really good reason. And many times that reason isn't the best thing for you. It's commissions. It's a huge moneymaker for the investing industry. This is why I think it's so important that when you work with an investment advisor, that they not be paid on commission. It creates a huge conflict because it creates an incentive to sell you things that may not be in your best interest. If you want to learn more about our approach to investing and financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. We don't do anything on commissions. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
Because the fact is, Americans don't like fascists. We don't like communists. We don't like tyrants. We don't like corrupt politicians like Joe Biden. Without question, this is the worst president, most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, without question. And I promise you this, if you put me back in the White House, their reign will be over and America will be a free nation once again. We're going to be a free nation.
That was Donald Trump over the weekend in Iowa. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand, 938. Thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for listening wherever you're listening on TuneIn, iHeart, or on your old-fashioned radio. We appreciate you for being here. We're seeing new polls coming out. Daily Mail has an exclusive. Trump leads Biden in 2 of 3 key swing states. The former president is up in Georgia and Arizona, while the Democrat is on course to hold Wisconsin. What were we just talking about Wisconsin?
No,
we weren't?
we weren't.
Okay. All right. Moving on.
Good.
Wow,
that worked.
Yeah, of course, dude. I'm not gonna. I thought we were talking about Wisconsin. I guess not. Donald Trump is leading Joe Biden in 2 of these 3 close-fought states, a year ahead of the 2024 election, according to an exclusive poll for DailyMail.com. Amid doubts over the economy and border security, who's doubting this great economy and our border security?
It's working.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know why anybody's doubting it. We have the best border security. Go Pack. Trump is 5 points ahead of Biden in Arizona. He's up 3 points in Georgia. However, Biden is likely leading in Wisconsin by 5 percentage points. Now, all 3 awarded their electoral colleges to votes to Trump in 2016 before flipping narrowly to Biden in 2020. The result of the 24 election could come down to who takes victory in these key states. Now, is Joe Biden going to take key victories in these states? I don't know. His approval rating is plummeting. Couldn't get it any lower. I thought it was already. I thought we were at basement level approval. Finds new ways.
He breaks records. This is what he does, man.
Yeah, it's like instead of shattering the glass ceiling, he's just doing it the other way.
Yes, exactly.
He shatters the earth crust with this approval rating plummeting. Apparently, he went down 8 points in a month to just 27% among independents. Record lows. And this is all because of the economy and how he's dealing with the war in the Middle East. This is according to a November Gallup poll. Brand new low, 27%. With his overall approval rating remaining at 37%, a tie for the lowest. Just 24% of independents approved of Joe Biden's handling of the economy. Yeah, the economy stinks. His approval rating in the garbage. Not shocking. Something that did surprise me. There's I say surprise me, but sort of surprising. There's a new campaign kicking off for Joe Biden. It's hashtag Abandon Biden. This campaign's kicking off as swing state Muslim leaders meet in Dearborn, Michigan. If you know anybody that lives in Michigan, the locals refer to it as Dearbornistan. It's a high concentration of Muslims in that area. One of the highest concentrations in the country, actually. And on Saturday, Muslim leaders from 8 swing states launched a campaign to hashtag Abandon Biden in the 2024 election due to his handling of the war between Israel and Hamas. Now, according to Politico, leaders from Michigan, Minnesota, Arizona, Wisconsin, Florida, Georgia, Nevada, and Pennsylvania met in Dearborn, Michigan, to coordinate their efforts before the election. During a press conference, University of Minnesota professor and member of the coalition, Hassan Abdel Salam, said, "We're looking into finding ways to build a mechanism of coordination between all the swing states so that we're constantly working together to ensure that Muslim Americans will come out in all of these states and that Mr. Biden will lose each and every one of them." We've been saying this for a while on the show. There are too many competing influences under the Democratic umbrella. And this is another example of that. their party is eating itself. And I think this is good for conservatives. Now, when they met, one of the leaders, Hassan Abdel Salam, said, right behind me, what Mr. Biden should see is 111 electoral votes. And he won last time with 74. Council on American Islamic Relations, Minnesota Executive Director, and another hashtag abandoned Biden member, Jelani Hussein, noted, we are not powerless as American Muslims. We are powerful, he continued. We don't only have the money, but we have the actual votes. And we will use that vote to save this nation from itself. He said, this is a dangerous precedent for Americans and for those who are watching at home. You want your sons to be sent to another war that we know will never end? No, most Americans agree with us that a ceasefire and bringing peace is the right action. Hussein also noted that the coalition is not supporting Trump in 2024 either. We're not going to make the same mistake of thinking about President Biden the way we thought. We don't have two options. We have many options, and we're going to exercise that. This is what we've been saying. Too many competing influences. It's often weird where he says that this Muslim leader, Jelani Hussein, said we don't want to send our sons to another war that we know will never end. Listen, there's not a lot I agree with these guys, but I do agree with that. It seems like what's happening in the Middle East will turn into another forever war. French President Emmanuel Macron said, this thing's going to last a decade. A decade. So do you want boots on the ground in Israel? Do you? The New York Times had a report out over the weekend that Israel had the Hamas game plan for a year before the terror attack. A year. Now, I know it's the New York Times, and I know how I feel about the New York Times. But to me, there was always something fishy about how this terrorist attack happened. And it turns out, when Charlie Kirk was getting lambasted for saying, how did this happen? It takes 10 minutes. Israel's the size of New Jersey. How did this go on for 6 hours? How did this intelligence failure happen? It turns out he was right. I mean, we all remember this from the Patrick Bet David podcast.
When I took a helicopter ride from Jerusalem to the Gaza border, it's 45 minutes. Wow. 6 hours. They're live streaming the killing of Jews. Did somebody in the government say, stand down? That is a legitimate, non-conspiracy question. The whole country is the IDF. The whole country is. Yeah. And you're trying to tell me that they're going to concerts and kibbutzes and schools and by reports 6 hours. Let's say it's 3 hours.
That's suspect. Go ahead, Rob.
It's also not like a right-wing reporting. This is from the New York Times. The long wait for help as massacre unfolds in Israel.
9
I can't
hours.
think of a more liberal news outlet than the New York Times.
And by the way, I'm actually very pro-Israel. So let me be very, so I'm not exactly.
Well, I think we all are.
No, I just want to make sure my position is clear here.
Now, listen, there's no evidence that there was a stand-down order. But there is evidence now that Israel had the Hamas game plan for over a year before the October 7th operation and terror attack that killed hundreds of people. The New York Times reported that on Friday. And it's the latest in a series of signs that Israeli commanders either ignored or played down the warnings that Hamas was plotting the attack. The New York Times said Israeli officials were in possession of a 40-page battle plan codenamed Jericho Wall that detailed a hypothetical Hamas attack on southern Israeli communities. It's unclear right now how that document was obtained by Israel, but the article said that it had been translated, indicating that it may have been in Arabic originally and directly intercepted from Hamas. The Israeli military has declined to comment on the report, saying that they're currently focused on eliminating the threat from the terrorist organization Hamas, saying questions of this kind will be looked into at a later stage. And while I support Israel and I support them going after Hamas, how long do we have to wait on these questions? Why can't we have this conversation? Questions of this kind will be looked into at a later stage. Charlie Kirk was on his show talking about this latest report, and this is what he had to say.
You're not allowed to, apparently, with the new rules of this sick world we live in, you're not allowed to even ask, was there an intel failure leading into the October 7th massacre? Not allowed to do that. So what's the cut again here? Oh yeah, on PBD. So this is what I said. Let's play cut 131. And the world lost its mind. I was attacked from every direction, like you could imagine. Institutional, there was a series of op-eds, articles, all trying to cancel me. They failed. And again, calling me an anti-Semite, all this sort of stuff. Again, it really bothered me. And it turns out what I was saying was, because I double and triple down, and people said, don't do it, it's too controversial. I said, no. My gut tells me that the Israeli intelligence likely knew about this attack plan ahead of time. They said, Charlie, how dare you say that? That's anti-Semitic. New York Times. Israel knew Hamas's plan more than a year ago.
Here's the thing. It bugs me to no end where you can't question the Israeli government or you're labeled anti-Semitic. I don't think anybody's questioning the Israeli people. I don't think anybody's pushing back against the Israeli people, but can we question whether or not the Israeli government knew the attack was going to happen? The New York Times reporting that they had a 40-page battle plan ready to go. They knew it. They're saying that they followed that plan to a T. Israel knew.
The Israeli government knew. They had the whole battle plan. Details? This is the New York Times. Hamas followed the blueprint with shocking precision. They knew points of entry, the methodology. They knew it all. The Israeli government had the whole ball game ahead of them. The document was circulated widely among Israeli military and intel leaders, but experts determined that an attack of that scale and ambition was beyond Hamas's capabilities.
So why didn't they react? Why didn't they do anything? I think these questions need to be answered. Maybe it's hubris. Maybe they honestly really didn't think that they could pull it off. Maybe that was really the take inside the government there, that there's no way that they could handle this. There's no way they could execute this. But I think we need some answers. And I think saying we'll answer those questions at a later stage. Well, this is what you said after the original attacks. We'll get to the bottom of it later. Can we start getting to the bottom of it now? But before we continue funding this war on both sides, because we are funding the war on both sides. Make no mistake about that. We're funding, aid into Gaza. We're funding Iran, who funds Hamas, and we're funding Israel. We're funding both sides of the war, and we can't get any of these questions answered.
Before America sends another dime to Israel, there better be mass resignations, firings, terminations, and answers.
I just want some answers. I don't think that's too much to ask. What say you? 615-737-9986. It's 9:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I love the state of Tennessee. I love everything about it, and I love hunting and fishing in the state of Tennessee, and what you guys do is so great. I was born and raised here, and this song is for Tennessee and everybody in it. Well, I have roamed across the land, and I have sailed deepest sea. When I've drawn my last breath, do this one thing for me. Say, won't you take me back to Tennessee, where southern streams are flowing free. Me and mine, Lord, will always be right at home in Tennessee. Right at home in the woods of Tennessee. Right at home. Awesome.
Gaza aid cut in half. Another benefit emerging from a popular weight loss drug. More choices and better rewards coming due to an airline merger. These stories and more at 10 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Listen, don't forget, we have a fantastic Super Talk Live Christmas party coming.
Oh, my gosh. That's this week, right?
Did you forget?
Oh, how could I forget? I'm so excited.
It's going to be awesome. Thursday. Thursday.
You're bringing the Christmas tree.
I'm bringing an entire Christmas tree with me because it seems like nobody else around here wants to turn this into a Christmas party. So if I have to do it on my own and do the heavy lifting, I will.
And you said last week you had already chosen what you're wearing. You've got a Christmas, shirt or something planned. I don't know.
I do.
Okay.
I'm wearing my Christmas best.
Wow.
So it's going to be bonkers, and we want you there. Super Talk Live. It's happening at Scoreboard Cedar Creek in Mount Juliet on the 7th, so Thursday. Dan's going to be there. I'll be there. Matt Murphy's going to be there. Brian Wilson doing a show live. And you. We need you there. It ain't a party without you.
Of course.
So please join us for Super Talk Live. Also tomorrow, we have Toy Field. I mean, we got so much going on. I love it. I love how busy we're staying. Tomorrow is Toy Field, from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Nissan Stadium. We're trying to just load up the parking lot with toys for kids in the area. The toys gathered are going to go to ensure all children have a happy Christmas morning. All the kids that are on the Salvation Army Angel Trees will have a happy Christmas morning. So we need your help with that as well. And Toy Field, again, all day tomorrow, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. And then our Super Talk Live Christmas party on the 7th, 4 to 8. It's going to be a wild week. Hang out with us and have some fun. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
O'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still got that crash, or at least what's left over from the crash, blocking the left lane, 440 westbound. That's going to be right after the I-24 exit in South Nashville. Very slow go right around there. Got the full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. And right now, an update on the Israel-Hamas war.
Humanitarian aid only trickling into Gaza after a ceasefire extension fell apart Friday. Just 100 trucks a day, including 2 trucks of fuel, entering the war-torn strip. That's only half of the water, food, and medicine that made it in each day during the week-long ceasefire. Gazans need much more help. 70% of the population, or 1.7 million people, displaced by the war with Israel. The UN warning starvation and disease could spread if more aid does not arrive.
That's Jordana Miller reporting. There's another benefit emerging from the popular weight loss drug Ozempic. Ariel Reshef says new research is finding that it may also help prevent alcohol overuse and abuse.
This small case study now setting the stage for larger clinical trials, looking at semaglutide as a treatment for AUD, as researchers explore whether the drug has the potential to treat other excessive use conditions.
A new case study composed of 6 people screening positive for alcohol use disorder, or AUD, found that they lost the urge to drink while using semaglutide for weight loss. Many American travelers rejoicing today for the new merger announced over the weekend between Alaska Airlines and Hawaiian Air that experts say could bring more choices and better rewards for travelers nationwide. Gio Benitez.
These are 2 of America's most reliable airlines now coming together after Alaska Airlines acquired Hawaiian for $1.9 billion. Both brands will continue to operate as Alaska and Hawaiian, but they will be run by one CEO, and their loyalty programs, this is what's important, will become one within the One World Alliance, which means travelers will have access to more than 1,200 destinations.
Yeah, this deal will take about 9 to 18 months to go through. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
10:04 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's happening? It's Chris Hand. Make sure you find us and listen to us wherever you go on the iHeartRadio app, the TuneIn app, and online, 997WTN.com. Plus, we do the podcasts. You can check anything you miss on the podcast.
Of course.
Wherever they're available.
Website.
Yeah. Is that it?
That's it. Yeah.
We're working on getting them available more places.
Yes.
It's a work in progress. We were talking about, the latest New York Times article saying Israel knew of the Hamas attack plan. Getting a lot of reaction on the super text line about that. I'm not pointing the finger at any one person. I'm just saying it's a failure of intelligence, and we need some answers. That's it. I think that's fair, especially before we get ourselves involved with another war. When we're $33 trillion in debt, and we have a woke military that I don't know. Do we trust them in another forever war in the Middle East after what they all left behind in Afghanistan? I don't know. I remember a time when the military was much stronger under Trump and our foreign policy in the Middle East was much more secure, and I hope we go back to that. I Trump was in Iowa over the weekend, and, I listened to the man talk, and I'm like, man, can we get this guy back in office? Can we? I mean, we need a guy that's willing to say these kinds of things once again.
Fact is, Americans don't like fascists. We don't like communists. We don't like tyrants. We don't like corrupt politicians like Joe Biden.
Amen.
Without question, this is the worst president, most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, without question. And I promise you this, if you put me back in the White House, their reign will be over and America will be a free nation once again. We're going to be a free nation.
I just want to get back to a point where it feels like the American citizens are first again, where it feels like we take care of our veterans before we take care of illegal aliens. It doesn't feel like we're there right now. It doesn't feel like we're there at all. Do you feel like the government has your back, or do you feel like they have others first?
For decades, you watched as a corrupt political class in our nation's capital looted your money, trampled on your dignity, and pushed their radical agenda into every aspect of your lives. You know it very well. But in 2016, you voted to stand up to those liars, losers, crooks, and creeps, and you elected an outsider as your president, and it was about America first. We want to put our country first.
I think that we can all ask to have our country first again. And in the meantime, can you feel like we're America first when we have Joe Biden in office? Does it feel like we're America first? Do you think that we can get America first with a Nikki Haley, or is that going to be military-industrial complex first? Paul Ryan, everybody loves Paul Ryan. He's been caught trying to steer endorsements over to Nikki Haley. This is from Breitbart.com. Former House Speaker Paul Ryan was caught this week attempting to steer presidential endorsements to former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, as he repeatedly warned the Republican Party against nominating former President Donald Trump, obviously the frontrunner. According to a tidbit from a Politico playbook, Ryan made a pitch for Haley to Rep. Mike Gallagher out of Wisconsin. Were we talking about Wisconsin earlier, Mac? The chairman of the Select Committee on the Strategic Competition between the United States and the Chinese Communist Party over text during a flight to D.C. According to the outlet, which reviewed photographs of the text messages, Paul Ryan wrote, "I think now is the time for a guy like you to endorse. Plus, her foreign policy worldviews track closest to yours. She brings the most excitement." Oh, do you feel like Nikki Haley brings excitement to the table?
Oh, she's riveting.
Is she? Paul Ryan in this text to the Rep. Mike Gallagher out of Wisconsin also said, "I like Ron, but don't think he has the growth stock. Think he is the growth stock Nikki is. Just following up per our talk in September. Oh, you know what else he said at the end of the text message? Did you know?
No, what did he say?
He said, "Go Packers." He really did. He really did. This is on Breitbart.com.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
That's what he said.
Gosh. Dang it.
That's what he said. I'm just reporting the news, Mac. This has nothing to do with the epic failure of your Chiefs last night.
Yeah.
This is what Paul Ryan said
failure.
to rep Mike Gallagher from Wisconsin. A spokesperson for Gallagher emphasized that the congressman has no intention to endorse any candidate this time. He said, "I'm out, bro. Don't look at me." He sent the text. I didn't respond to it. The Fox News board member Paul Ryan, obviously, he hates Trump. He has TDS, and he's gone on record saying Trump's unelectability will be palpable by 2024. Okay. Thanks, Paul Ryan. And thanks for ruining Fox News, by the way, Paul Ryan. We appreciate that.
Because we're Fox News, and we suck.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, 1002 texted it, and Ryan's on the board of Fox News. Not too much conflict, eh?
No, nothing. Nothing. No conflict at all.
1002 put that A at the end of their.
Yeah,
are they trying to? Is that they're trying to dialogue with you?
Yeah,
Canadian.
the same way Paul Ryan was trying to dialogue with Rep. Gallagher out of Wisconsin by saying
Packers.
"Go Packers."
We got the best team. Go Pack!
Yeah, that's what they do. They're all faking.
Nip it in the bud.
I'll try. I'm sorry. So Nikki Haley, they're trying to get her endorsements. Nobody really wants to endorse her because, I don't know, Paul Ryan thinks she's exciting. I feel like that's like an anti-endorsement. Like Paul Ryan's like, "Yo, she's so exciting." It's like,
everyone's like, "Yeah, okay."
I was kind of in, and now I'm out.
Starting to like her, and then you said that.
Yeah, I wish you hadn't said anything. I completely disagree. On the flip side, Trump is gaining endorsements. He got an endorsement from the Ohio Republican Party. He also got an endorsement from Moms for America Action. So Trump is actually getting real endorsements, and Paul Ryan's begging for Nikki Haley to get any endorsements. Just anybody, please help. Ron DeSantis what's he been up to? Well, DeSantis's super PAC interim CEO. Remember how his super PAC they fired the CEO. CEO's out. Well, the interim CEO was ousted after 9 days. Said
good run,
solid run, solid run. He was benched quicker than a Patriots quarterback. Kristen Davidson was reportedly fired on Friday as the interim CEO for the pro-DeSantis super PAC Never Back Down, just over a week after she filled the role, signaling continued dysfunction within the organization. Politico's Alex Isenstadt first reported that Davidson was fired Friday, 9 days after assuming the position, citing two sources familiar with the move. A vague description of management and personnel issues from one of the sources was noted in the article as reasons for her termination. Ron feels like he can still win in the Iowa caucus. In fact, that's what he was saying on NBC's Meet the Press over the weekend. He's like, I still got this.
So just to be clear, you are committed to staying in the race through the caucuses?
Oh, of course I am. I mean, it's absurd that I wouldn't be.
You hear him? Oh, of course I am. Why would you ask that? Like, well, everything's floundering around you, sir.
Oh, of course I am. I mean, it's absurd that I wouldn't be. If you look at past Iowa caucus winners and compare to what, people were saying in November with this poll or that poll, it almost never comes out the same way. So we have a great base of support. We have a much wider base of people who are potential caucus goers who believe that I've been a great governor and would be a good president. And we've just got to bring that home.
Very low energy.
Golly, wake up.
Still more exciting than Nikki Haley.
When people start to make their decisions, and they will be doing it. But I'll tell you one thing.
Tell us, Ron.
What people in Iowa and even the other early states, they do not want the media choosing the Republican nominee.
They don't want the media choosing the Republican nominee. Is the media choosing Trump as the Republican nominee?
They do not want narrative to trump over their decisions. And so I see a lot of resistance on the ground here to some of the things that have tried to be spun, whether it's through polls, whether it's through pundits. And I think that's a good thing. I think you're going to see on caucus night people's voice be heard.
I think you'll see people's voice be heard on caucus night. I don't think they'll be speaking up for Ron DeSantis. And it doesn't seem like it's going to be trending in that direction. I appreciate him staying in the race though for the material. But let's be honest. He's saying that he doesn't want the media to influence people. He doesn't want the media is pushing for other candidates. Maybe they're pushing for Nikki Haley. Maybe that's who he's talking about. But they're definitely not pushing for Trump. Definitely not pushing for Trump. And on the flip side, Ron's saying he's staying in the race and he's going to hang out in Iowa. He thinks he's going to win the caucus. Trump is in Iowa over the weekend, and he had this to say about DeSantis, and his current predicament that he's in. Oh, here we go.
It's Ron DeSantis. And I sent him a note. Never change your name in the middle of a campaign. It's not a good thing. But what we did was pretty amazing. We got him elected, and then 4 years later, the press is screaming at him, will you run against the president? And he said, I have no comment. I said, he has no comment. That means he's running. We got to hit this guy. And my geniuses backstage, I get paid all this money. They said, sir, don't bother talking about, because people don't care about loyalty. I said, I think they do care about loyalty. See, I think they do. I think they care a lot about loyalty. And we hit him very hard, and he's been falling out of the air like a very seriously wounded bird, right? To the ground.
He's a very seriously wounded bird. Falling to the ground.
He's been falling out of the air like a very seriously wounded bird, right?
He's giving him credit. He didn't say he was a dead bird.
No, he's just seriously wounded. He's not dead.
He's seriously wounded, you guys. There's still a chance that he could take Iowa. He's only seriously wounded right now.
And he says, right after he says it, like, God.
He's been falling out of the air like a very seriously wounded bird, right?
Right? Guys, there's a question mark on the end of that.
To the ground.
To the ground. He's falling like Joe Biden's approval ratings. He's, cracking that old basement foundation.
Exactly.
To the ground.
To the ground.
Yeah. So funny.
That's
But yeah, so DeSantis campaign, his super PAC interim CEO is out after 9 days. It seems like they are in current disarray. What Trump says, people don't care about loyalty. That's what his thought leaders in the back that he pays a lot of money to said. I care about loyalty. I do. Trump got DeSantis elected. And personally, I thought at a certain point he could have been a great VP. And I also thought at a certain point that the road was paved to him for 2028. But where we are now...
He's been falling out of the air like a very seriously wounded bird, right?
Very seriously wounded.
Oh, it's so ridiculous.
I always joke. I just saw a text from Bill, Ron DeSantis. Do you know that my wife, for like a year, thought that Ron DeSantis was a woman? She thought it was Rhonda.
Rhonda?
Yeah.
DeSantis.
Yeah. So, like, we were watching something. I forget what it was. And DeSantis is, like, talking. She's like, so when's Rhonda coming out? Like, what do you mean? It's like...
He's out there. I don't know. When's Rhonda coming?
Yeah. Who's that? Like, that's Ron DeSantis. She's like, what?
I love that. That's so good.
I thought Rhonda was a woman. Nope.
And see, he's not able to laugh at those things. That just makes him seed.
Oh, my gosh.
I'm a man.
I'm a man.
As he wears his 6-inch heels.
Oh, the heels.
He's been falling out of the air like a very seriously wounded bird, right?
Like a very seriously wounded bird in heels, right?
Exactly. Right?
So funny. And then, he does start talking to the people in Iowa because he's in Iowa. The caucus is coming up January 15th. And this is a big deal, He starts, he's trying to win that. He's praising the Iowa farmers.
Were amazing. This was in the middle of this problem we had with China. I had to turn it off with China, but they said, we don't want subsidies, sir. We want a level playing field because nobody can beat us with a level playing field. I got them much more than a level playing field. And, you had one of the greatest deals ever made. China, $50 billion. Remember I used to say, don't worry, it's going to work out good. I knew where we were going exactly, but it took a little time. You had to be a little bit tough, to put it mildly. They're tough. I said, don't worry, go out and buy larger land, get more land, and get bigger tractors. You remember, I said, go out just right now. You can bank on it. Go out and get more land and bigger tractors. And I turned out to be right. And I'll tell you what, the Biden administration is running on our fumes. That's all they're running on.
Yeah, until they replace the fumes with batteries. You know, everything's got to go green. They're running on our fumes until they replace it with something green. But Trump slams, Biden for his policies and his weakness with China. And I think a lot of the guys on the ground in Iowa, a lot of the farmers recognize that. I think they do. And you see, certain Republicans around the country, like Sarah Huckabee Sanders, banning China from buying land and all that. We need Trump back in office to do that on a nationwide scale. And I think that's how we protect farmers.
Bingo.
I think the people in Iowa will respond to that. And I don't think Ron DeSantis has much of a chance. I don't. He can't even keep his super PAC in order. Is it weird that anytime I hear the word super PAC, I just picture Tupac in a cape?
Super PAC.
Is it just me? No? All right. It's 10:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, it's Chris Hand for my friends at Paul Winkler, Inc. If you don't have a financial plan for your future, if you don't have a game plan for retirement, you need to get one, especially in this economy. Now, I have 4 wonderful kids. Me and my wife, we didn't have a financial plan, but with those 4 kids, you can imagine it's a big priority. So we were so happy to link up with Paul and his team. And one of the reasons we love them is because they hold themselves to such a high level of fiduciary standard. Now, because of that standard they hold themselves to, I'm required to tell you that I'm paid every time this commercial airs. And that's the truth, but that's not why I'm a client of Paul's. I'm a client of Paul's because he can break down my financial questions and answer them honestly and in a way that a guy like me can understand. I got to tell you, since I've become a client, I'm impressed. Paul's a smart guy. He knows the financial world better than I do. And with Paul and his team, nothing is done on commission, but they are big on education. And that education they provide is evidence-based and backed by Nobel Prize-winning research. So you got to check out Paul and his team. Every single office is run by a degreed planner with over 20 years of experience, and that experience is huge. You can really feel the difference between Paul's team and the rest because that experience equals confidence. So do what I did. Talk to one of his team members today. You can set up a complimentary 15-minute phone call right now on his website, paulwinkler.com. That's paulwinkler.com or call 615-851-1950.
An important U.S. ally has strong words for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. There is news to report about the former cop convicted of murdering George Floyd and election 2024 breaking news. All of this and more at 10:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Take us with you wherever you go. iHeartRadio, tune in. If you can get a record player or something, I'm sure you can listen to us there too. Right? Isn't that what Joe Biden said? Keep the record player on. Listen to 99.7 WTN wherever you go. I got a text here from 5143. Said, the more we listen to Trump talk like a stupid moron, the more we dislike him. Classless. Vulgar. He disrespects America and Americans. He's not for us. He's for himself. I feel like I could say the exact same thing and just take out one word and replace it with one word. And it would actually be a true statement. So if I took out Trump and I replaced it with Biden. So the more we listen to Biden talk like a stupid moron, the more we dislike him. Classless, vulgar. He disrespects America and Americans. He's not for us. He's for himself. Thanks for the text, 5143. Appreciate you. I don't know how you don't like this guy. This is Trump in Iowa. Does this sound like he doesn't care about Americans and he's more for himself?
Because the fact is, Americans don't like fascists. We don't like communists. We don't like tyrants. We don't like corrupt politicians like Joe Biden. Without question, this is the worst president, most corrupt president in the history of the United States of America, without question. And I promise you this, if you put me back in the White House, their reign will be over and America will be a free nation once again. We're going to be a free nation.
I don't know. It sounds like he cares about Americans to me. Sounds like he cares about America. What about the guy in the office right now?
Remember during the debate, I said to Joe Biden, I said, how come the mayor of Moscow's wife paid you $3.5 million? And Chris Wallace, how's he doing, by the way? Chris Wallace was the moderator. You shouldn't be allowed to ask that question. I said, well, it's true. The mayor of Moscow's wife paid this family $3.5 million. Why did they get it? What did they do that was worth $3.5 million? They weren't able to explain it. Now it's turned out to be a big case. I was right. Chris Wallace, it was like fighting two people. Of course, it was really like fighting one person. That was a beauty. But now it's turned out to be a very big, really big subject. He got $3.5 million from Moscow, and nobody knows why, and they can't justify it. What did you do for the $3.5? At least say you did something. There's nothing. They didn't do anything. You know what they did. It's called laundering.
It's called laundering. Yeah, that guy doesn't love Americans or America. Yep. Weird. He sounds like somebody that hates Americans in America. Here's my thing, 5143. You can say that Trump, disrespects America and Americans. He's not for us. He's for himself. But if he was really for himself, he could just walk away and be rich and enjoy the rest of his life. Instead, he goes for the presidency, and they've attacked him. They've attacked him nonstop. They put feds in the crowd on January 6th. They put bogus charges on him. All he would have to do is walk away, and all of that would disappear. But he still pushes forward. I don't think that he's not for us. He's for himself. Okay, if you were really for yourself, would you put up with all of that? Would you put up with all that, 5143, or would you walk away and enjoy your money and just go be rich somewhere with your grandkids if you were really for yourself?
Together, we're taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. No matter how hateful and corrupt the communists and criminals we're fighting against may be, you must never forget that our nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you.
Oh, that sounds like a guy that doesn't care about America or Americans.
Our nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you, front row Joes. This is your home. This is your heritage. And our American liberty is your God-given right.
10:30 on the dot this Monday morning. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast in 2 minutes. Strong words about Israel from a U.S. ally in the war on terrorism. Turkey's president predicting that Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will one day face trial as a war crime, war criminal, I should say. President Erdogan calling Benjamin Netanyahu the butcher of Gaza. Well, it's back to prison for Derek Chauvin, the former Minneapolis police officer convicted in the murder of George Floyd. Chauvin's been released from a Tucson, Arizona hospital where he has been recovering from being stabbed by another inmate more than a week ago. Election 2024, North Dakota Governor Doug Burgum has suspended his campaign for the Republican presidential primary. Burgum was polling last on the list of major candidates tracked by 538's national average and didn't qualify for the most recent primary debate. That's the latest news. Weather is next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. One of the things you hear me talk about frequently on my radio show that has been going for over 20 years in the Nashville market is that annuity sales are not necessarily a great thing for the end investor. Now, if you go to an investment firm, a lot of times you'll get that. The first thing that they recommend, an annuity. Banks and investment firms recommend these for one really good reason. And many times that reason isn't the best thing for you. It's commissions. It's a huge moneymaker for the investing industry. This is why I think it's so important that when you work with an investment advisor, that they not be paid on commission. It creates a huge conflict because it creates an incentive to sell you things that may not be in your best interest. If you want to learn more about our approach to investing and financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. We don't do anything on commissions. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
Hey, it's Chris Hand from my friends at United Structural Systems, USS. Now listen, with the rain over the weekend, is the perfect time, if you haven't poked your head down in your crawl space in a while, to do it today. Poke your head down there, take a look around, and check some stuff out. Are you noticing standing water in your crawl space? Have you noticed wet basement walls, maybe cracks in your basement floors? Well, that's your house trying to tell you something. And I highly recommend giving the guys at USS a call. Now, it doesn't just have to be your crawl space. Maybe you've noticed a sinkhole on your property. Maybe you've noticed your steps are kind of sinking. Maybe you need some foundation repair or total crawl space encapsulation. The guys at USS, they do it all, and they've been doing it in Middle Tennessee since 1994. I mean, they aren't going anywhere. And when you work with a newer guy in town, you have no guarantee that they're still going to be around if you ever have a warranty issue. Well, that is not a fear with United Structural Systems. They're licensed and insured, and they have more than 25,000 satisfied customers to back them up. Plus, they're not a franchise. They make a custom solution to meet your own needs, and you don't pay until the work is done and you are satisfied. So if you're noticing any of those issues, there's only one game in town to call: United Structural Systems. Give them a call at 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, online, USSTN.com.
Bidenomics is just another way of saying restore the American dream. Bidenomics is about bringing supply chains back home. That's Bidenomics. That's investing in America. Bidenomics is Bidenomics. 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 It's no accident.
Oh, yeah. That was almost every day for a while where the president was name dropping Bidenomics. Almost every economic speech he used that word. But notably, he has not said that word for at least a month now.
What happened? We're not doing Bidenomics anymore?
Wait, but I thought
it's working.
I thought it was working.
It's not. Apparently it's not. They haven't said it in a month. He didn't say it all of November.
You know, they push that out, say that, say this, coin this. And I was like, drop it.
It's not working.
Evacuate.
It's not working.
Mayday.
That's so dumb. Classic Joe Biden. Yes, you can't use Bidenomics anymore. It's not working. He says it is, but it's not. It's not working.
Trump was right, and Joe Biden was wrong.
Trump was right. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. 1037. My name is Chris Hand. Listen, you can listen to us wherever you go, on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio. We have a listener goes by the name of Fletch. Our boy Fletch.
Fletch.
You know what Fletch does?
What's he do?
Fletch is one of those guys on the what is it? What do they call that?
Like
he rappels down the sides of skyscrapers.
Okay, yeah.
And he cleans windows on the skyscrapers around Nashville. And do you know what he does while he does that? He sent me a video.
What does he do?
He listens to our goofy selves talking on the air. Yeah.
Wow.
That's what Fletch does.
Risking your life and listening to us while you do it, man. I don't know.
He posted a video. Listen. He posted a video. He's listening to us on the TuneIn app. And the guy next to him, his wallet fell out of his back pocket.
No.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's the funniest thing.
That's crazy. That just shows you really can.
You really can listen to us wherever you go.
That's awesome.
Wherever you go.
Thanks, Fletch.
Shout out to Fletch. I showed my kids this video. It's like, check out what this guy does. They're like, what?
Whoa.
My wife says he's a real life Spider-Man. He is. Fletch is Spider-Man. But yeah, you can listen to us anywhere. Fletch proves it literally every day. So if you see a guy, on a skyscraper way up in the air, just know he's listening to me and Mac. So don't worry. Don't worry about anything. He's got it covered. Also, Bidenomics is not working. We're not using the word Bidenomics anymore. Can't do it. But Carrie Lake, who I happen to like a lot, she's come up with a new term that we can use in place of Bidenomics. Just another Biden failure, different area. This one goes to the border. She was on what was she on? With Maria Bartiromo, I believe, talking about the wide open border and how terrible it is in Arizona. And this is Carrie Lake.
The worst border in the whole country is in Arizona, and it's the Tucson sector. Those numbers are shocking, especially when you consider what they were a few years ago, where we barely had anybody coming across illegally under a great policy that President Trump had put in. And now we're seeing just one morning, Maria, 950 people poured across in the Tucson sector in one morning, and and 71% were just adults. This is not families coming across, and we do have those, but the majority of these people are fighting age men. We are watching as we're being invaded, and we're seeing a foreign army basically pour across our border. We talk a lot about Bidenflation. We have a Biden invasion happening on the border in Arizona.
You like that?
Nice.
Biden invasion.
That was nice.
I don't think Joe will use it in any speech.
No, I think he'll steer clear of that.
Yeah, but I like it. I'm going to start using it.
It's a Biden invasion.
No, not a Biden invasion.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I shanked it. I did it, Dan.
It's a Biden invasion.
Biden invasion. That's good.
Yeah, pretty slick.
It is.
We talk a lot about Bidenflation. We have a Biden invasion happening on the border in Arizona, and it seems like we're not getting any attention from the White House, from D.C. We need to get this border wall completed. And just this week, Maria, and remember last time I was on, I was talking about how the Biden administration had welded open the gates so people could pour in.
Yeah.
Just this week, we saw cartel members moving in heavy equipment and literally chopping down parts of the wall. And a reporter was videotaping it, and they were blowing her kisses and laughing. This is what's happening. The cartels own and control our southern border. And this is really, in my opinion, an act of war.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. So the cartel are tearing down parts of the border wall. When she said that a reporter was watching them, I was expecting her to say, and they shot at her, but they blew her kisses. So at least they're sweet. At least they're nice. At least they're nice about it. I feel like I laugh to keep from crying when it comes to the border. You know, you look at, let's go to Lukeville, Arizona. Breitbart.com has these exclusive photos in Lukeville, Arizona of this Biden invasion in progress. Migrants camping for days at Arizona's Organ Pipe National Monument. Nearly 1,000 migrants braved near freezing temperatures in the Arizona desert near Lukeville after crossing the border wall and waiting to be processed by Border Patrol, with more border facilities facing overcrowding and limited transportation resources to serve the remote area. Many migrants are spending days sleeping in the desert, hoping to gain their freedom into the United States to pursue asylum claims. Listen, turn around, send them back. It's an invasion. I don't understand why we're processing these people. We turn them around. Breitbart Texas was in Lukeville, Arizona, Saturday morning, and they saw a limited number of Border Patrol agents watching over hundreds of illegal aliens from a host of countries, as far away as Pakistan, the Middle East, China, and several Western African nations. China. What are they doing here from China? Why? Maybe they're just building an army inside our country. Weird. These illegal aliens were stripping branches from scrub brush and the Organ Pipe National Monument Reserve to build fires for warmth as they waited 4 days to be processed and released by Border Patrol. Here's the thing that kills me, man. Released. Processed and released. Why? They broke a law. Send them home. As the fires burned out, some of these illegal aliens walked into the reserve area to strip branches from small trees to fuel the fires. They lack bathroom facilities. So, they're doing what they can where they can, making it a necessity to use federally protected reserve area to perform those bodily functions. Gross. I mean, if you see what happens on some of these border areas, it literally looks like a dump. The amount of trash and medication and IDs and clothes that are stripped away when you're crossing the Rio Grande or when you're crossing any of these border sections, crazy. And due to the remoteness of this Lukeville, Arizona area and the demands of other illegal alien groups apprehended within the Tucson sector, buses and vans arriving to move these illegal aliens away from Lukeville, few and far between. As transportation became available, some migrants are taken into custody and marched to a rallying point near the Lukeville port of entry, where the basic biographical information was taken. personal property was inventoried, and these illegal aliens were placed on arriving buses and vans and, subsequently shipped into the interior of the country. I can only assume. More than 100 miles away on the Tohono O'odham Nation Reservation near San Miguel, Arizona, several hundred illegal aliens are being guarded by Border Patrol agents competing for the limited transportation resources to move out of those elements. These illegal aliens are at the mercy, again, of limited resources because the Border Patrol doesn't have the resources to cope with 3,000 migrants crossing into a sector on some days. I feel bad for the guys that work in Border Patrol. I do. I feel bad for the guys that are just doing it to put food on the table for their wife and kids, because it feels like it's a war zone down there. According to Border Patrol, 17,500 illegal aliens were apprehended by agents within the Tucson sector during the last week of November. That's just one sector. The number doesn't even include the illegal aliens waiting for days to be formally taken into custody until they are entered into an agency database to begin the asylum process. So the number is probably even larger, but they can't count them until they process them. Crazy. And according to a source within Customs and Border Patrol, most of these migrants are surrendering to Border Patrol agents. And I say migrants because, that's what the verbiage is. They're illegal aliens. They surrender to the Border Patrol agents in the sector. And then they're quickly released to non-government shelters in Tucson and Phoenix, where they travel to other parts of the United States right after. It's insane. But you know what? That doesn't even... Listen, I know the border's wide open. But here's something that'll piss you off. Here, well, let me just play it for you. We'll play it for you. We'll find out together.
Break down what's happening. Is it really the case that when someone comes across the border illegally, in some way they're using the VA to get health care services?
Hey, Pete, thanks for having me on your show. Yeah, it's happening. And I got to tell you, when I found out about this a few weeks ago, it made me mad. And everyone I've talked to who's a veteran, it makes them mad.
Hey, veterans, guess what? You're having trouble getting health care from the VA. Well, illegal aliens are using it. Fox News has this story. A long-standing arrangement between the Department of Veterans Affairs and Immigration and Customs Enforcement are processing claims for migrant medical care. So, we're now putting the illegal aliens directly in front of our veterans for medical care.
VA's mission is to serve veterans. It is not to help ICE and the Border Patrol, which we have the documents which on their websites and from a memo. It's not to help them go ahead and process medical claims and pay medical claims and make it easy for the unauthorized migrants to get health care and dental care. So what is happening is, and look, as someone who's a former senior advisor in the Trump administration at the VA and an advisor at the White House, I would have stopped this. We would have stopped this because it's not right. The mission of the VA is to serve veterans, not to serve unauthorized migrants.
And then they're not unauthorized migrants. They're illegal aliens. But apparently, according to these documents, they're going to get their cavities filled before our veterans. They're processing them for dental and medical. Does this not infuriate you? Does this not infuriate you? That illegal aliens are getting medical care and dental care before our veterans? Because it infuriates me. I try not to get mad on the show. This stuff pisses me off to no end.
And so what's happening is, and we have this from the Undersecretary of Health, he's put out in a video, which I've seen, hey, make it hard for veterans. Make it hard for veterans to go ahead and get community care. But at the same time, they are processing for 2022 161,000 medical claims and paying those claims for unauthorized migrants.
Unauthorized migrants, illegal aliens. Make it hard for the veterans. Let's let the illegals just skip the line and use, American tax dollars for your dental and medical. Unbelievable. Let's go to Jenny and Laverne real quick. You got a comment on illegals. What's up, Jenny?
Hey, how you doing? I just saw an episode on Monkey Works December 2nd. He explained his sources, his resources. That's MONKEYWERX. Reporter down on the border had someone in a cab, and they explained that they were hired by the United Nations as soldiers, and they're being distributed to major cities in the United States. And the government, if you go to the employment jobs list, they're looking for bilingual linguists to teach English. And so the whole thing is, there is your resource. They're not here to defend our country. If our military goes out of the country to fight a major war, not many people would be left in the homeland. It's the way it was explained. And so it's not a pretty sight. 49.5 million have come in up since Biden took office till November 6th, I believe he said. So I refer all your listeners to go look at the Trojan Horse, December 2nd, Monkey Works, WERX.
All right, perfect.
And it is not a conspiracy. It is truthful.
Hey, nothing would shock me at this point, Jenny, and I appreciate the call. Thank you so much for weighing in on that. I will definitely be digging in on that and seeing what I can come up with. But, you know, what we have in front of us has been proven. The VA is prioritizing illegal aliens over veterans. Awesome. And what was it? 5143 a little while ago texted in and said, Trump doesn't care about Americans. Look at who we have in here now. Unbelievable. We got more calls on the way. I see you guys hanging on the line. Hang out with us. It's 10:51 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Israel under increasing pressure to protect civilians in Gaza. There is news about the former cop convicted of murder in the death of George Floyd, and there's a new benefit emerging from a popular diet drug. These stories and more at 11 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. We were talking about illegal aliens being put in front of veterans for health care with the VA and even dental with the VA. Unbelievable story. And I got a text here from 7273 said, you actually have to be 100% disabled to get dental care with the VA. 100% disabled.
Wow.
Do you think any of the illegal aliens that are getting dental care through the VA now are 100% disabled?
No.
Weird. It's absolutely infuriating. And I do want to get to your calls on the subject. Stephen in Columbia, we're going to get to you next. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Eleven o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Full forecast coming up in 2 minutes. Israel-Hamas war. IDF officials say they're fighting now in all parts of Gaza. Here's Tom Sufi-Burridge.
Talking about this being a new phase of the war, and really we've seen such suffering inside Gaza all throughout this weekend. Really difficult images to watch. Children being killed, the UN calling the situation there catastrophic. And Israel now trying to pursue Hamas. They say they're doing everything they can. They insist that they're making the maximum effort to protect the civilian population there.
Meanwhile, Israel and Hamas officials remain at a standstill on possible negotiations for another temporary ceasefire today. Israel saying until Hamas agrees to produce the other women and children hostages they have named to IDF officials, a deal will never be reached between the two. There is news about the former cop convicted of murder in the death of George Floyd.
It's back to prison for Derek Chauvin after more than a week in a Tucson, Arizona hospital recovering from being stabbed in prison. Chauvin had to be hospitalized on November 24th, Black Friday, when authorities say a fellow inmate stabbed him with an improvised knife. That inmate has since been charged with attempted murder and assault. Chauvin is serving a 22-and-a-half-year prison sentence for the murder of George Floyd, pressing his knee on his neck for nearly 9 minutes in May of 2020. Chauvin's lawyer says his family is concerned about the prison facility's capacity to protect him from further harm.
That's Derek Dennis reporting. New research finding that the weight loss drug Ozempic, known generically as semaglutide, may also help prevent alcohol overuse and abuse. Ariel Reshef.
The wildly popular drug used for weight loss, semaglutide, is now showing very early signs of potentially curbing alcohol use for those who drink excessively. A new case study composed of 6 people screening positive for alcohol use disorder, or AUD, found that they all saw a clinically significant decrease in symptoms while they were using semaglutide for weight loss.
That's the latest news. Weather's next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
hey, make it hard for veterans. Make it hard for veterans to go ahead and get community care. But at the same time, they are processing for 2022 161,000 medical claims and paying those claims for unauthorized migrants. Meanwhile, veterans are having a hard time getting health care. They're literally dying because they can't get mental health in a timely manner. They can't get cancer treatment. Bills are being sent to them because they're not paying the providers on time. So it's making it hard for veterans. They've told the staff to do that. Only default to the VA community care when you have to. At the same time, they're helping Border Patrol and ICE make it easy button. Easy button for unauthorized migrants, hard button for veterans. It's got to stop. Congress needs to investigate this. Last year, Mayorkas said in testimony that they were working with the VA to go ahead and expand this, possibly in medical centers. We don't know exactly how deep this is. It's got to be investigated.
It's insane.
It's got to be stopped.
Yeah, it's got to be investigated. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Apparently, it seems like the VA is prioritizing illegal aliens over veterans. Unbelievable. Let's go to Stephen in Columbia. Your thoughts on illegal aliens getting health care before veterans. What's up, Stephen?
Hey, Chris. Good to talk to you. So I guess my perspective is coming as a veteran.
Thanks for your service.
I appreciate that. But that texter mentioned, being 100% disabled. And what I don't think a lot of people understand is that when he says that is a service-connected disability, meaning that person at one point was injured in the line of duty and is given those, it's kind of like a thank you for your service, kind of deal. It's a benefit. Now, these people that come in here, they could join the military and they could earn their citizenship through naturalization. It's kind of like a deal like, hey, if you do your service, then we'll make you a citizen. And I knew a lot of people when I was in the service that did just that because they wanted to be in the United States that bad that they put their life on the line for the United States citizens and were given citizenship in return. Now, the other thing about this is, even though this makes me mad, it kind of makes me chuckle because I don't know if you've heard the stories about the VA, but it's a broken system. And if you ever go to the VA emergency room, urgent care, it's packed. Standing room only sometimes. So it's like, I don't know how they're going to pull that off with adding more people to the system. That being said, the only one time I see the urgent care empty was during the height of COVID, which I find kind of weird.
Weird. Yeah.
Weird.
I mean, but is this not like a slap in the face to our veterans?
No, absolutely.
I find it infuriating. I didn't serve. I have a lot of friends that did, and I can't understand why we would treat our veterans with such disrespect.
No, yeah, and it makes me personally upset, but I'm sure there's a lot of other people that are going to be affected by that more than myself. I'm 90% disabled, but there's guys that are 100% disabled that have things that need to be taken care of more often than I do.
Yeah,
and they're not going to get the care that they need. That's my brothers and sisters right there. So I feel bad for them.
Dude, I feel bad too, but it's just like, it just seems like it's like a demoralization campaign against people that love this country. It's disappointing at best.
Yep.
Hey, man, appreciate the call. Thanks for listening, Stephen. Thanks for your service. Let's go to Andy in Columbia next. He says he's a disabled veteran. Andy, first off, thanks for your service, man. Second off, what do you think about the VA prioritizing illegal aliens over veterans?
I think it's the biggest bunch of BS I've ever heard of. It's something that's been going on, and apparently I've heard stories of different places where they've been kicked out of lodging that they held for illegal aliens. Personally, I'm still trying to get seen for mental health. I've got severe PTSD, like Stephen. I'm disabled, and it's service-connected, and a lot of people don't understand that we did earn that, and we're just, all we're asking for is just, take care of us. We did what we did, and my God, it's like you're getting spit in the face. Okay, yeah, you did serve your country, but so what?
Yeah.
And people really don't realize how precious our liberties are in this country. It's I don't know. It's like Stephen said earlier, it's very demoralizing.
Yeah.
That being said, I don't know of any veteran that I've ever talked to that, if asked, wouldn't go back again today. We're certainly a lot slower than we used to be, but we'd go in a heartbeat,
Yeah, man. And we love you guys for it. And thanks for your service. And I feel like I should apologize for the government doing this to you guys.
Well, and we really appreciate that. We just want them to step up.
Yeah.
Do what you said you were going to do. We signed a contract, and we said, we'll do this. And they said, okay, and if you do, we'll do this. Well, we did our part.
Yeah.
But, it's I don't know what the answer is.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm just trying to get in right now to see somebody about severe PTSD that I've got, and it's a struggle. It's a huge struggle.
Man, I'm sorry that you're dealing with that, Andy, and I appreciate your service, and we'll keep you wrapped up in prayer, my man. I hope that everything gets squared away for you real soon.
I do appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Thanks for the call. It's tough. You hear stories like Andy's, and it's like, what the bleep is going on?
Yeah.
Like, what the bleep is going on?
Takes you off.
And he mentioned the story about veterans being, moved out for illegal aliens. And yeah, there was a 94-year-old vet in New York City who was removed from his nursing home. They evicted him so he could be replaced by illegal aliens. His name was Frank Tamaro, 94-year-old Army veteran, lived in a senior center. He had called it home for 5 years, and then he was told to find somewhere new to live. Because months later, he found out that they were making room for illegal aliens. They moved into his old residence. Unbelievable. Let's go to Guy in Franklin, who's also a veteran. Guy, first, thanks for your service, man, and thanks for calling in. What do you think when you hear this story?
Well, it's par for the course. Frankly, if I'm being honest, this is not anything new from the Biden administration. It's surprising to hear. It is surprising to hear, but I'm not surprised by it, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been fighting with the VA. Well, I've not been fighting for long, but I just recently I separated in 2012 and just recently got a PTSD and anxiety diagnosis in the past couple of years, and they've already denied one claim, and I'm in the process of fighting with them over another. And suffice it to say that in the mid-'90s, my father-in-law suffered cancer from Agent Orange exposure back when he was in Vietnam.
Jeez.
And my in-laws had to sue, Chris. They had to sue the VA administration for 100% disability, and he's still ailed. He's still dealing with ailments from Agent Orange exposure. And had they not sued, he probably would not have had the ability to get the 100%. And I'm going to push back just a little bit on the not the last caller, but the one before, who said that this service-connected stuff is a benefit. This is unequivocally not a benefit. This was paid for. This was bought in blood and in sweat and in tears by our veterans. This is not a benefit. This is what is due and what is owed to them. And it is an absolute abhorrent disgrace that this administration would even have the wherewithal and the audacity to evict and treat illegal immigrants. Do not call them what are they saying?
Unauthorized migrants.
Don't freaking call them that.
It's such a joke. It's like that's what the left does. They always manipulate the language. Like, we should not fall into that on the right. They are illegal aliens.
100%. This is not a claim that they're getting a asylum claim. They're not asylum seekers. They're invaders.
Yeah. And
it's time that we put our foot down and start treating them as such. I love you guys. Y'all have a good day.
Hey, man, I appreciate the call. And thanks again for your service, Guy. And it's crazy to me. It's like we should be rolling out the red carpet for our veterans. Like, it infuriates me to think that you guys have to fight for your claims in the first place. Garbage. Hot garbage, the way they treat the veterans in this country. Let's go to Charles in Murfreesboro. You're up next on the Chris Hand Show. What's up, Charles?
Yes, my kids are a veteran, and my thing is that, they have a problem with recruitment all over the military, all the services. And maybe it's because they know how they're going to be treated, and they're not going to be treated fairly
Amen.
when they do join.
Yeah.
So maybe that's one of the big problems with the recruitment.
Yeah, who wants to sign up for, DEI training and no health benefits after you put your life on the line?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So and the younger people out of colleges and high schools are seeing it, and why join something though they're just going to shoot you in the foot and leave you out to dry.
You're absolutely right, Charles. It's not exactly a ringing endorsement for people that want to sign up.
Exactly.
Hey, man. Hey, tell your kids we said thanks for their service. We appreciate them.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
Hey, man, you too. Let's go to Dave in Hendersonville. You're next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. What's up, Dave?
Hey, good. How you doing, Chris?
Good, man. How are you?
I'm doing all right. I never served, but there's a lot of people in my family that did. My father did, and I never had a relationship with him because it screwed him up in the head so bad. He was in the Korean War, was shot 3 times while he was in there, and when he come back, that's when I was brought into the world. But he got to drinking so bad, I never knew it. Yeah. So, for them to do this, do me a favor. We're saying it's this administration, it's these liberal policies that are doing this. It's not the good people of the United States.
Nah, you're absolutely right. There are good people out there.
And it's a disgrace. It's a disgrace that they're doing this to the people that have given us our freedom.
Yeah, thanks for the call, Dave. I appreciate you, man.
Their freedom.
Yeah. And I feel like disgrace is probably the nicest way we can put it. I did get a text here from 7662 that I feel like I should share. It says, please tell these veterans to go to their local Veterans Service Officer in their counties. It took my VSO in Maury County 90 days to get me bumped from 80% to 100% disability. These guys are 100% free and are all vets and know how to cut through the red tape. So that's you go to your local Veterans Services Officer. Again, I haven't served. I'm not sure how exactly accurate that is, but if it helps out, go that route. Go check out your Veterans Service Officer in your county. Let's go to Peter in Clarksville, who's also a veteran. Peter, first off, man, thanks for your service. Secondly, what do you think when you hear a story like this?
Well, first, thanks for letting me this moment here. So with that being said, it breaks my heart. But more importantly, yes, there's stuff out there we don't have control over. Because I'm from Clarksville, my heart goes out to the Montgomery County folks. So we have, and this is what our veterans need to do, in my opinion, is we have the Montgomery County Veterans Coalition with Sherry Pickering. We have Mark Green, and we have Marsha Blackburn in our back doors. We need to use them.
Yeah.
So I appreciate all that you guys are doing. Thank you for bringing this up, and stay in the fight.
Yeah.
Appreciate y'all.
That's all we can do. Hey, thanks for the call, Peter. Thanks for your service, man. Appreciate you. Yeah, we should get our elected officials involved more. It's just a sad story.
Getting a lot more text kind of confirming that VSO thing, saying VSOs are a great start. Some saying great start, but VSOs aren't all trained equally, so don't necessarily go in with an expectation, anything like that. But yeah, a lot of help here from the text line.
Yeah, this is one thing I love about the text line.
Oh,
it's
of course,
like
man.
If there's something I don't know, and there's nobody knows everything, right? And I don't have any experience in this firsthand, but I know a lot of you guys listening do. So to be able to crowdsource this for other veterans out there is huge. So any tips you have, 615-737-9986. Any reaction you have to this story of the VA, prioritizing illegal aliens over veterans. When it comes to healthcare and dental care, it's unbelievable, but is it shocking with what we've seen in this country? Are you shocked that they're prioritizing illegal aliens? And to what that one caller said a little while ago, maybe this is why the recruitment numbers are down. It's easy to see. I am not a veteran, but it's easy for me to see that our veterans aren't treated the way they should be. So if you're a 16-year-old kid, you think a 16-year-old kid who's thinking about maybe enlisting in the Army or the Marines or the Navy, do you think they don't see this? You think they don't see how we're treating veterans in this country? And I keep saying we. I know somebody said don't say we. It's the left. But no, this is an American issue. We all need to step up here. We all need to get vocal and get loud. And I don't know. It pisses me off to no end when we have homeless veterans on our street. We have veterans who risk it all and give everything, and then an illegal alien because they somehow made it across the border get to cut in line on health benefits and dental benefits. Garbage. Hot garbage. More reaction from you. More calls next. It's 11:20 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Another intense day of bombardment in the Israel-Hamas war, and the most dire warning yet from the White House on a need for U.S. funding for Ukraine. These stories and more coming up at 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Ken Weaver. It's 11:25 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Take us with you wherever you go on the TuneIn app, the iHeartRadio app. If you can fit a record player in your backpack, I'm sure you can listen to us on that too. You can listen to us everywhere. Super easy. We're talking about, the fact that the VA seems to be prioritizing illegal aliens over veterans. Unbelievable. Concerned Veterans for America saying lawmakers need to look into this arrangement. That's the word on the street, that illegal aliens are getting health care benefits before American citizens. What do you think about this? 615-737-9986.
VA's mission is to serve veterans. It is not to help ICE and the Border Patrol, which we have the documents which on their websites, and from a memo, it's not to help them go ahead and process medical claims and pay medical claims and make it easy for the unauthorized migrants to get health care and dental care. So what is happening is, and look, as someone who's a former senior advisor in the Trump administration at the VA and an advisor at the White House, I would have stopped this. We would have stopped this because it's not right. The mission of the VA is to serve veterans, not to serve unauthorized migrants. And so what's happening is, and we have this from the Undersecretary of Health, he's put out in a video, which I've seen, hey, make it hard for veterans. Make it hard for veterans to go ahead and get community care. But at the same time, they are processing for 2022 161,000 medical claims and paying those claims for unauthorized migrants.
And they're not unauthorized migrants. They're illegal aliens. Unbelievable. Is this shocking to you? I'm not actually shocked. I got a text here from 6447. He said, do you know when you first mentioned the story, I was surprised. But now thinking back, the very first clue we had that the Biden administration doesn't care about our soldiers when they were sent there to guard the White House and they forced them to sleep in a parking garage on a concrete floor. Do you remember that story?
Yep.
Unbelievable. A lot of people commenting the fact that we have billions of dollars to send to Ukraine, but we can't take care of our veterans. Yeah, we can fund all sorts of wars. And I'm on record saying I don't want to fund any foreign wars until we get our affairs in order at home, meaning secure the border, take care of our veterans. Is this too much to ask? Is this too much to ask? 9495 points out an important part of that audio clip on the text line. He said they're processing for 2022. So they've been getting these services for over a year, I assume. Yeah, you're absolutely right. He does say that. He does say that. So this has been going on for a while. We're now in December of 2023. So we've had a whole nother year on top of that. And I doubt that they've pivoted away. Do you think they've pivoted away from doing that after 2022? Doubtful. Let's go to Mario in Murfreesboro, who is a veteran. Mario, first off, thanks for your service. Secondly, what do you think when you hear this story?
Yeah, thanks. It was my honor to serve. Hey, this isn't just a veteran's problem. This is an American problem. Who's paying for this? The taxpayers.
Amen.
Every taxpayer should get on their phone and emails in any way they can to contact their senators and congressmen and tell them how they feel about this. The Biden administration showed us who they were when he checked his watch at the ceremony for those killed in Afghanistan.
You're right.
On his debacle of a departure.
Isn't it bad that there's so much disrespect to our military that we can't even remember all of it? Like, I forgot about that. As sad as it sounds, there's so much outrage porn when it comes to this administration and how they treat our veterans that had slipped my mind.
Yeah, and then he jumps on the bandwagon of trying to take. Now, his son both served, and if he got his cancer from serving, then so be it. But he did not die in Iraq, and yet Joe Biden tries to claim that his son was killed in Iraq, trying to jump on a veteran bandwagon for the glory. The dishonor of this president is shameful. It's just shameful.
But it's not surprising. I mean, this is the same president who went to visit fire victims in Maui and said, hey, I almost lost my Corvette in a fire, so I know what it feels like when you've lost your kids. This president is garbage. He doesn't care about American citizens, and he definitely doesn't care about veterans.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Like I said, everybody who's listening should get in touch with their representatives and let them know how they feel about this, because this is costing us. We're $33 trillion in debt, and now we're paying for people who earned nothing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Hey, thanks for the call, Mario. I really appreciate it, man. Also, don't forget, when we had that texter who said, we knew who this guy was when he had the military sleeping in the parking garage on concrete floors when he was first elected. Don't forget, it was Trump that put them in a hotel for that. It was Trump who said, get those veterans in the Trump hotel, and those servicemen and women. There's one guy that really does care about the military and the veterans, and there's one guy who I don't know if he's thinking at all. It's 11:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Ken Weaver in the headlines.
$11:30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast in 2 minutes, and it's been another intense day of fighting in Gaza.
We've been hearing Israeli artillery airstrikes pounding the Strip for the last 5 hours. Journalists based at this position we know who've been here since the beginning of the war say this has been one of the most intense bombardments since the war began. And it really tallies with what the IDF is saying right now. They're talking about this being a new phase of this war. They're talking about...
That's Tom Sufi Burridge reporting. There's an urgent push from the White House to Congress about money for Ukraine. President Biden's budget director, Shalanda Young, this morning sending a letter to congressional leaders that says without congressional action by the end of the year, the administration will run out of resources to procure more weapons and equipment for Ukraine. The White House asking Congress to approve $106 billion in foreign aid, with almost $61.5 billion of that to go to Ukraine. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News.
Hi, I'm Paul Winkler. One of the things you hear me talk about frequently on my radio show that has been going for over 20 years in the Nashville market is that annuity sales are not necessarily a great thing for the end investor. Now, if you go to an investment firm, a lot of times you'll get that. The first thing that they recommend, an annuity. Banks and investment firms recommend these for one really good reason. And many times that reason isn't the best thing for you. It's commissions. It's a huge moneymaker for the investing industry. This is why I think it's so important that when you work with an investment advisor, that they not be paid on commission. It creates a huge conflict because it creates an incentive to sell you things that may not be in your best interest. If you want to learn more about our approach to investing and financial planning, go to paulwinkler.com and set up a free 15-minute phone call. We don't do anything on commissions. Or you can call 615-851-1950.
break down what's happening. Is it really the case that when someone comes across the border illegally, in some way they're using the VA to get health care services?
Hey, Pete, thanks for having me on your show. Yeah, it's happening. And I got to tell you, when I found out about this a few weeks ago, it made me mad. And everyone I've talked to who's a veteran, it makes them mad.
I'm pissed, actually. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, 11:36. My name is Chris Hand. Illegal aliens getting benefits before veterans. Weird. Unbelievable. We got a text here from 6447 said, hey, Chris and Mac, can you guys get us the numbers for these Congress critters and senators so we can call in? Why, yes. Yes, we can. Mark Green's Washington, D.C. office, 202-225-2811. 202-225-2811. Mark Green, veteran himself. I think he's probably a good one to call. We also have the numbers for Desjardins, Blackburn, Johnson, Ogles. If you need some of these numbers, feel free to text us at 615-737-9986, and we'll send them over to you. I think that this needs to be like an all-hands-on deck. Like, enough is enough.
Blackburn's D.C. office, 202-228-0566.
Thank you. Do that one more time.
That's 202-228-0566 for Marcia.
All right. Unbelievable. We got money for Ukraine. We got money for foreign wars. We don't have enough for our border. We don't have enough for our veterans. Does this not infuriate you? I'm infuriated. I mean, in fact, what did they say it costs us for illegal aliens a year? They said it was like $451 billion. $451 billion with a B.
Gosh.
Unbelievable. Every year, $451 billion with a B. And now illegal aliens are jumping in and cutting the line on our veterans. Cutting the line on our veterans, and they're getting health care before our veterans. They're getting dental care before our veterans. Why are we allowing this to happen? It's honestly infuriating. Your calls, your reaction at 615-737-9986. And if you text in, you need those numbers, we'll send them to you as fast as we can. 8602 says, treason. With an exclamation point. You know, it's funny to me. We can kick Santos out of office, but we can't impeach Mayorkas. You know, it seems like the only thing Republicans can agree on is weakening our own majority in Congress. but hey, you know, it's not like our veterans need health care. It's not like our veterans should be taken care of, right? That's what the government's telling you. That's what the government's telling you. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. 8602, illegal aliens deserve zero benefits. I am furious. Yep. I'm furious too. Marsha Blackburn's D.C. office, in case you want to make a call and raise a stink, 202-224-3344. That's Marsha Blackburn's D.C. office, 202-224-3344. Mark Green's D.C. office, in case you want to call and make a stink, 202-225-2811. 202-225-2811. How is this not like mainstream biggest story of the day everywhere? Where's Phil Williams covering this, huh? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this costs us $451 billion a year, these illegal aliens. And I'm sure that this doesn't even include the price tag on the VA's role in the illegal alien healthcare. $451 billion. Unreal. If you need those numbers, text us 615-737-9986. Mac is in there furiously trying to reply to everyone as quickly as he can. So please be patient. We will try and send that to everybody that asked for them. We got everybody's number. So we'll send it to you. This is like one of those times where it's like, yeah, everybody should call in. Every single person. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. They don't care about the veterans in this country. They'd rather pay the health care for illegal aliens. That's what they would rather do. And it costs us so much. $451 billion a year. That's the estimate floating around.
Got a lot of people asking for numbers from Kentucky as well, because we got listeners there, Alabama. This Andy Barr in Kentucky, Washington office, 202-225-4706. I'll get some more of those Kentucky numbers, though. But that's 202-225-4706 for Andy Barr.
Thanks, Mac. Appreciate it. Yeah, so illegal aliens are getting health care benefits before our veterans from the VA.
VA's mission is to serve veterans. It is not to help ICE and the Border Patrol, which we have the documents which on their websites, and from a memo, it's not to help them go ahead and process medical claims and pay medical claims and make it easy for the unauthorized migrants to get health care and dental care. So what is happening is, and look, as someone who's a former senior advisor in the Trump administration at the VA and an advisor at the White House, I would have stopped this. We would have stopped this because it's not right. The mission of the VA is to serve veterans, not to serve unauthorized migrants. And so what's happening is, and we have this from the Undersecretary of Health, he's put out in a video, which I've seen, hey, make it hard for veterans. Make it hard for veterans to go ahead and get community care. But at the same time, they are processing for 2022 161,000 medical claims and paying those claims for unauthorized migrants.
And that's in 2022. Make it hard for veterans. Make it hard for veterans. Way to spit in the face of the people that will put everything on the line for the country. Meanwhile, the border's wide open. The border is wide open. Every day, thousands more illegal aliens are crossing that border. And they're cutting the lines of our veterans, apparently. For health care, for dental. Unbelievable. I played some audio earlier of Kari Lake talking about the Biden invasion that's happening. The Tucson Sector Border Patrol agents, they apprehended nearly 58,000 illegal aliens in the past 4 weeks, according to unofficial reports. This is up 55,000 plus from what they encountered in October. It's crazy. Crazy. Infuriating. Absolutely infuriating. And even the way this guy covers it, he says unauthorized migrants.
For unauthorized migrants.
Illegal aliens. It's illegal aliens.
Meanwhile, veterans are having a hard time getting health care. They're literally dying because they can't get mental health in a timely manner. They can't get cancer treatment. Bills are being sent to them because they're not paying the providers on time. So it's make it hard for veterans. They've told the staff to do that. Only default to the VA community care when you have to. At the same time, they're helping Border Patrol and ICE make it easy button. Easy button for unauthorized migrants.
Illegal aliens.
Hard button for veterans. It's got to stop. Congress needs to investigate this. Last year, Mayorkas said in testimony that they were working with the VA to go ahead and expand this, possibly in medical centers. We don't know exactly how deep this is. It's got to be investigated.
It's insane.
It's got to be stopped.
They want to expand it too. Doesn't that make you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside? Why? How come recruitment numbers are down? It's a mystery. Nobody knows why. Because time after time, this government, this administration shows that they don't care about veterans. That's what we see. That's what we see on full display. Story after story, time after time. Unreal. People wonder why Trump is so popular. Trump vows for mass deportations. Anybody else out there pushing for that? I haven't heard anything from Nikki Haley on mass deportations. Nothing. Again, if you want those numbers, you want to call, Mark Green or Desjardins or Blackburn and let them know about your righteous anger. We'll send them to you. 615-737-9986. 5198 texted and he said, come on, Hand. It's simple. When the big guy gets his 10%, then the vets will get their help. Simple. Oh, that's right. My mistake.
Bingo.
5375 texted in and said, Chris, media won't cover a story unless there's a chance people will follow it. I remember reading about the Benghazi attack. It's the Tennessean, I think. After reading it, I asked myself why it wasn't on the front page. Sure enough, it was all the talk that day. It's crazy. Crazy. All right, everybody's texting in for the numbers. We're gonna get them to as many people as we can, all right? And it again, it's no shocker why people want this guy back in office.
Together we're taking on some of the most menacing forces and vicious opponents our people have ever seen. No matter how hateful and corrupt the communists and criminals we're fighting against may be, you must never forget that our nation does not belong to them. This nation belongs to you, front row Joes. This is your home. This is your heritage. And our American liberty is your God-given right.
Got a crash right before lunchtime. It is blocking the right 2 lanes of 65 northbound at Armory Drive, just south of downtown. Gaza Aid has been cut in half. Another benefit is emerging from a popular weight loss drug. These stories and more coming up at noon on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's 11:55 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Chris Hand. Joined in studio by Matt Murphy. Now, Matt, I know your team suffered a big loss over the weekend.
Painful.
Mac Morey's team also suffered a big loss over the weekend.
Painful.
Comparing the two is not fair, though. Murphy's is much worse.
No,
so sorry.
But also, to be fair, I only have a song for one of you. So.
Tell all the people across the USA, I love my Green Bay Packers.
It is catchy.
It's pretty catchy.
I was doing show prep last night. My wife's like, "Hey, are you gonna come to bed?" I said, "I have to wait until the end of this game. My whole break hinges on the fact that I need to play this Midwest polka for Mac Morey."
We got the best team. Go Pack!
Look,
this is so dumb.
And reminds me of years ago when I believe it or not, I don't drink nearly as much now as I used to. And years ago, I would stay up late on Saturday nights. There was this thing. Does anybody else know? It's a Molly B's polka party.
No,
you don't know what I'm talking about. You know Molly B's polka party?
No, I don't think I do.
This is the extent of my polka knowledge.
We got the best team.
That's it. That's all I got.
I want to make sure that I'm saying her name right, because if I get it wrong, I'm going to be
all right,
in
perfect.
trouble.
While you look that up, let's check out the breakdown.
Break it down. Oh, I just love my Green Bay Packers.
It's Molly B's polka party.
All right, cool.
So this is like a young, attractive female that goes around the Midwest and does these polka shows.
All right.
And it's on like RFD television. And it is fascinating to watch the older generations of our American heartland dancing to polka tunes in the Midwest.
I could
Absolutely love
totally
it.
bust a jig to this one.
We got the best team. Go Pack!
Mac hasn't been very happy with me.
Well, they don't have the best team, but it's all good.
All right.
What, the Packers don't have the best team?
Neither did the Chiefs right now. So.
Go Pack!
Okay.
Is Jacksonville actually leading the AFC right now?
Yes.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
That's amazing. I was at the Titans game yesterday. That was fun.
Oh, were you?
That was fun for a minute.
Oh, that was a good game.
Will Levis is a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a real deal.
Will
I
Levis
like
is
him.
a quarterback.
I
The
like
rest
him.
of the team, not so much. But I don't understand. Hey, can I ask a question of your producer?
Please.
Mr.
do.
Hand.
Please do. Hold on real quick before you do.
Yeah.
All right, go for it. You may now ask him a question.
Okay.
Since when has it been okay to just run directly into the punter?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah.
I don't understand why I can't get an explanation about why what happened yesterday was okay.
Yeah, there's 2 flags for the roughing the punter. There's the roughing the punter one, and then there's, I forgot what else they call it, but either you hit his plant leg or you hit him in general.
And they destroyed his plant leg yesterday.
Yeah.
Twice. And never got flagged for it.
Best punter in the league, by the way.
And it's like, it's my show, and y'all just talk amongst yourselves while I do this.
He wouldn't want it either way. He's having a blast right now.
I purposely led with like a Pfizer story just so I could shoehorn this in.
How excited were you when you found that song?
Oh my gosh! I said to Mac, it was between this polka song and a Lil Wayne one. I was so happy that I found the polka version.
It's so much better.
All right, I'm back tomorrow. Matt Murphy on the way. Hang out with us. It's Super Talk 99.7 WTN.